Since 1970, Africa has experienced more than 2,000 natural disasters, with just under half taking place in the last decade. The extreme weather events demonstrate Africa's vulnerability to the effects of global warming, even though at 3.8%, Africa accounts for the smallest share of global greenhouse gas emissions, in contrast to 23% in China, 19% in the US, and 13% in the European Union. If Africa is the continent most vulnerable to be destroyed by climate change, Freetown, Sierra Leone is one of its most at-risk cities. Global warming has manifested in Sierra Leone through rising sea levels, increased temperatures, and changes in rainfall patterns that have plagued the nation with floods and most recently a mudslide that took the lives of over 600 after 3 days of torrential rainfall. Global warming continues to threaten the development of the nation and ultimately the safety and welfare of Sierra Leonean citizens. I am Ismatu Darami, here with a documentary by Shout Climate Change Africa, themed Freetown Coastal Erosion and Sea Level Rising Threat. This documentary is centered around coastal communities in Sierra Leone, those most vulnerable to the present coastal erosion and sea level rising threat here in the capital, Freetown.
Yeah, I grew up. I've been there with my uncle. We've been fishing. Now from there, they've been paying me school fee. Like we been the middle there. But the host don't go. Now, we the find place. Look we the over here now we manage with life. What are they near we back in the chase way? First, we have been there. For let you go catch the sansan chef, the sansan no more. For go catch the sansan, they walk up to 1.5 miles. For reach now the sansan now, the river for cross inside the sansan day. For reach after you don't cross the river for meet the water, they walk up to 1.5 miles back. So count it together now, that about 3 miles. So we say we dey now. Water don't eat all anything and day, all the land. All the water, the road, the houses there. Water don't care go all. As I say, we also in the middle of that water. Water don't take all over. Which how would they go now? Papa government will not come inside and help we.
That water they don't come 50 meters close to the coast. It be there about 4 miles off.
What thing be don't happen? Now sugar love. We dey pray to God let it not happen again. Now Sugarland.
Most seashore communities around the peninsula are disappearing at an alarming rate. Urgent action is required in order to contain the present disastrous situation and prevent the inevitable destruction of these communities that will displace countless Sierra Leoneans. Among these communities are Sugarland, Bango Farm, Ogoo Farm, Lakka, and many more. The sea continues to expand at an alarming rate, taking over land and collapsing residential and commercial structures alike, endangering the livelihoods of thousands of residents and countless seaside businesses. Look at that white line mark indication on the sea. Far from here is a place where the sea was a few years ago. It is now more than 500 meters, and the bulk of it happened around the last 7 years. Just after that mark, which also joins the land of Milton Mergai College of Education and Technology, was Bololo 3 village, which had entirely been taken over by the sea, which means there is no more Bololo 3.
So from this stick here, we look Bololo number 3. Bololo number 3. Say go Lakka. Lakka beach. Look the under. Southern pool and the under so. Yeah, all like the host them. The host them in prayer, two we under. Right now we go there. Do the forest set with the under. Look now host for us. The host them book them. But say go Lakka. You been the work from that 3 miles day. Left the Sugarland. You go to Lakka.
Bololo 3 used to be a large community with over 100 inhabitants. Formerly, this town was more than 1 square mile land area before the sea encroachment. The taking over destruction at the place has given rise to the place and name change from Sugarland, now called Bitterland, in acknowledgement by residents of the massive scale of destruction caused by sea rising. During the interview, the Sugarland community chairman Mr. Hassan Kamara, ascertained that 4 to 5 years ago, the sea was about 500 meters away from them.
They quite start for telling us, this land have been fertile land. If you see anybody we can, you must enjoy the sweetness we all have. That's the cause where people call it Sugarland.
He added that the community was indeed lively, with hundreds of residents using it for recreational purposes, and they used to enjoy the thousands of tourists and visitors that were attracted to this tourist site. Trade was fine as sale of just water was able to bring in good income. The entire Bololo 3 village is now gigantic rubbles in the sea. The oldest man of the community, Pa Alpha Umara Suma, stated that the sand and the land were far away from the sea.
People them way them been there boku.
Them be Boku.
People them been there boku. You see yanda. They say they for yanda. Now in the fence been there, Sansan. They have been far into the sea. Well, you know this year, two water na in the this day, this water will the come out here in India. Well, we will not feel and fine, but we will not get place. We will not have a place where we don't get, we don't try, we don't cry. For we are like the help we. Let we save life now. The people that way them been don't buy this place here, they not buy them for say inside the sea. Now land in them been buy. That's why we don't put the money now. The water don't can take the place. We say we now, then sababu we don't make. That's why we don't afraid for drebu. Let we not come out now. But we say we don't afraid this water. Let you not can take we now.
But the unchecked sea level rise has resulted to our predicament, he insisted. Other community elders, including Adama Kaba, Abdul Karim Koroma, and Mamo Kargbo.
All that, you know they feel fine.
Land before they eat can inside, they 1 mile away from the beach to the land. Who river become middle day. And over they not to up here every day. Now down at the land who the water takes so now they over for every day.
The land there, small river pass. That the bush they back before. And on a big bush.
Deer every day, monkey every day.
Explained that the island forest was the home of many animals such as monkeys, crocodiles, sea turtles, porcupines, and more that have all now disappeared. Today, only birds like the cattle egret can be seen. With respect to Bango Farm, Ogoo Farm, and Lakka village, a resident, Christopher Gasimu Williams, said that only the Bango Farm is the remaining island with a fair share of the former beach.
Crocodiles, them they live here.
However, this sand is also being secretly washed by the sea due to the heavy downstream current. If prompt action is not taken in this disaster-prone area, it will also aggravate the coastal erosion, with further expected sea level rise, and the Bango farmland and beach will also be destroyed in just a few years. Mr. Patrick Paul Koroma, who has spent more than 15 years now at the place, residing in the slum area of Bango Farm along the riverbank, stated that over those years, more than 300 houses and buildings are now in the sea.
Houses they will near the beach. They don't go. Houses don't collapse. If you take a look at YMCA all long go, YMCA don't fall down. Who's standing out of well.
Many of them were mighty buildings, even bigger than the ones you can see here, he said, pointing to the mighty mansions on the hill behind us. He also mentioned that during the war period, there was no sand mining in this area. But the coastal erosion started when the sea level started to rise. It became noticeable in the year 1996 because after the raining season of that year, I was not able to use that road again, he said. He mentioned that structures like the YMCA buildings, Fawaz building, the Lebanese hotels and bungalows, and the St. Michael Hotel are no longer visible.
I've been in the YMCA for 35 years now. We were able to secure a property at Lakka with sponsorship from our German partners in 1979. We had a recreational center there, a resort center, and we also use it as a dwelling place for people who want to go on camp and also for outings, etc. But in the late 1997, to be precise, we started experiencing some erosion around the Lakka beach area, wherein first and foremost the trees that we used to bank the waterway start falling down, and the level of the water came up onto the point that the African hut that was used for dancing, etc., was also affected by the sea taking over the land. And most of our investment, because we had by then about 32 acres of land, and we had some chalet there as well that were used for dwelling and camping. So it started with the mango trees, the trees along the banks, and also the African hut, and eventually we lost everything. We lost everything that we invested in the Lakka beach. Presently, the sea is reclaiming the land, and for us to reclaim the land back from the sea, it will cost us a fortune. And also to put modalities in place to arrest those who might want to violate the laws. Or else we'll wake one morning and we will see no more land around the peninsular coast, but the sea.
He also mentioned that there was a two-way tar road plying the Sugarland through the rest of the communities. But that also has been swallowed by the sea. The only reservoir now left at Bango Farm is the small mangrove area. But even this is also suffering from the ongoing deforestation, which is now threatening the animal population as well. Its major animals then included sea turtles, fish, hawk, cattle egret, alligators, and a variety of fishes. Other animals like Diana monkeys and crocodiles disappeared for years as a result of this degradation. One Abu Bakar cargo was caught in the act of mining sand along the Mangrove River beach, who identified one Artilla to have asked him to mine the sand.
Well, to be honest with you, I know about climate change. Well, yeah, climate change is a problem everywhere.
The Lakka community is in a more critical condition, as you can see what SCCA called disaster in action. Taking a look at these high tidal occurrences, there is only some meters barrier of beach sand which is preventing the sea from having access to this community. You can also see that even this land is completely below sea level. Research also shows that the possibility of the ongoing rising sea level will be increased and disastrous during the wet season. This means that if sea encroachment continues this rainy season, within hours, the entire community will be at risk of being overrun by the sea. Shout Climate Change Africa Director Doris Massaquoi had this to say.
One of the ways, therefore, to handle this situation is to put strategies in place for sea level rise management and preventing further coastal erosion at this place mentioned earlier.
This may include banking the sea around the beaches of Freetown coastal communities or providing an alternative mitigating action plan, which is already part of Shout Climate Change Africa's 2018 activity plan.
The mangroves serve as one of the most important prevention to coastal sea level rising threats.
Therefore, planting the mangrove trees here would be helpful indeed for the restoration of our beautiful landmark beaches and the prevention of further threat by the sea. If this action is taken with immediate effect, the survival of the remaining historic site for tourism and recreation is likely to be reclaimed. Now, a final word from Shout Climate Change Africa's director.
Being in a period of transition, Shout Climate Change Africa, however, recommend the next government to work in collaboration by putting immediate measures in place to mitigate the ongoing disaster in action.
Big houses are collapsing. And according to Amit Sahid, who has lived there since childhood, he emphasized that scores of large buildings had collapsed and more than 100 acres in the sea as he speaks. He explained that buildings of prominent Sierra Leoneans, like the former heads of state Joseph Saidu Momo of blessed memories and the late Justice Kowan Sr., the jetty-like structures, large hotels and bungalows, the YMCA, residential lodge, the Russian buildings, and heliport there are no longer seen. There are scores of valuable structures next in line to go if immediate action is not taken. It must be seen that the loss involved costs millions of hard-earned dollars. Some of the destroyed structures used to create employment for scores of Sierra Leoneans and also contributed to the growth of the Sierra Leonean economy. It was Sugarloaf, but now is Sugarland. Attention and action are needed to prevent the Nasset building and emergency hospital, not to mention the structures before them, all falling victims of this problem in not too distant future. Though Sierra Leone is making strides through touristic potentials of the country, leveraging our beautiful, breathtaking environment, climate change threatens to destroy our livelihood and ultimately the sustainable development of a nation. Join Shout Climate Change Africa to fight climate change issues and make Sierra Leone and the world a better place for humanity and all living things. Watch out for Shout Climate Change Africa's next documentary on Conakry D and Eureka. I'm Ismatu Darami. Thank you for watching.
Shout Climate Change Africa.
Shout now or never.